time is a human-constructed system, not an inherent property of the universe. Clocks and calendars are timekeeping methods developed and controlled by humans. Historically, those in power have often controlled these timekeeping tools. This control allowed them to regulate activities and maintain social order. The concept of time manipulation is introduced. The possibility of altering time is questioned. This sets the stage for exploring related theories. The phantom time hypothesis will be examined. This hypothesis challenges conventional timelines. Time is presented as a construct created and controlled by humans. This perspective highlights the artificial nature of time management systems. Control over time is depicted as a source of power. Those who dictate time structure often hold considerable influence. This control can impact various aspects of society and individual lives. The text introduces the concept of potential historical manipulation. It suggests that the established timeline might not be entirely accurate. This raises questions about the reliability of accepted historical narratives. Historical manipulation implies intentional alteration of past events. This could involve distorting facts or suppressing information. The possibility challenges our understanding of history. Heribert Illig is a German historian known for his controversial phantom time hypothesis. The hypothesis proposes that the early Middle Ages, 614 to 911 AD, never actually occurred. Illig suggests this period was fabricated through misdated artifacts and documents. This radical claim challenges conventional understanding of medieval chronology. The central assertion is that the years 614 to 911 AD are fictitious. This hypothesis suggests these years were artificially added to the timeline. The claim posits an insertion of approximately 297 years into recorded history. This challenges the conventional understanding of historical chronology. Proponents argue for a re-evaluation of events within this contested period. The theory implies a potential manipulation or misinterpretation of historical records. The early Middle Ages are sometimes described as a fabricated era. This description suggests that events may have been invented. It also implies rulers and generations were potentially fabricated. This perspective challenges the historical accuracy of the period. The text discusses the manipulation of a calendar. The manipulation involves moving the calendar forward. The alleged motive is to place rulers at specific times. These times are described as symbolically powerful moments. This suggests a deliberate effort to associate rulers with significant dates. The manipulation is framed as a fabrication to achieve this goal. Otto III, Holy Roman Emperor, is a figure in the phantom time hypothesis. The hypothesis alleges a conspiracy involving historical timelines. Otto III is identified as one of the alleged conspirators. This theory suggests that certain years were fabricated. The phantom time hypothesis remains a controversial concept. Pope Sylvester II is identified as a key figure. He is allegedly involved in fabricating the timeline. This claim suggests his actions contributed to historical inaccuracies. The assertion positions him as an active participant. This implies a deliberate manipulation of historical records. Constantine VII is identified as a major figure. He allegedly collaborated in a conspiracy. This collaboration is an allegation. He is the third major figure mentioned. The conspiracy's core motive was to seize power. The conspirators aimed to rule in the year 1000 AD. Year 1000 AD held symbolic importance. Ruling in 1000 AD would legitimize their power. The year was seen as a turning point. Control during this year would ensure lasting influence. History can be manipulated through various deceptive methods. One such method involves the falsification of official records. This includes altering or fabricating historical documents. Another technique is adjusting calendars to distort timelines. These actions aim to create a false or misleading historical narrative. Such manipulations can have significant long-term consequences. The Julian calendar was introduced by Julius Caesar. The Julian calendar contains a known error. This error caused dates to drift over centuries. The drift made the calendar inaccurate over time. This inaccuracy led to the need for calendar reform. The Gregorian calendar was introduced in 1582. This new calendar aimed to correct inaccuracies in the Julian calendar. A key adjustment was the removal of 10 days. This correction realigned the calendar with the solar year. The change ensured greater accuracy in tracking seasons. The Gregorian calendar is now the international standard. The phantom time theory posits a historical manipulation of the calendar. It claims that years 614 to 911 AD were fabricated, adding 297 years. A key argument involves the Gregorian calendar reform's missing days. The theory questions why only 10 days were removed, not the expected 13. Heribert Illig claims that certain centuries are fabricated. He suggests these phantom centuries were added to the calendar. This addition, according to Illig, creates a false timeline. The core of his argument is the alleged absence of historical evidence. Illig believes the missing days represent these non-existent centuries. This assertion challenges conventional historical understanding. The period from 614 to 911 AD presents a challenge in archaeological records. There is a notable scarcity of substantial archaeological evidence from this era. This absence raises questions about our understanding of the time. The lack of findings hinders comprehensive historical reconstruction. Researchers investigate possible reasons for this evidentiary gap. Further studies are needed to fill the gaps in the archaeological timeline. This section addresses expected population growth. The expected population growth is during a specific period. This growth is contrasted with archaeological layers. The archaeological layers are noted as being thin. The period termed the Early Middle Ages shows a lack of major architectural growth. This absence is a notable characteristic of the era under consideration. Significant building projects were not a hallmark of this time. This contrasts with periods of more intensive construction activity. The limited architectural expansion raises questions about the era's development. Further research is needed to understand the reasons behind this lack of expansion. Archaeological records offer insights into past cultural development. However, some records indicate a limited degree of cultural development. This limitation is evident in the artifacts and structures discovered. The simplicity or lack of variety suggests a slower cultural evolution. This observation provides valuable context for understanding the period. Further research is needed to fully interpret these findings. The occurrence of rapid technological advancements in certain areas is highlighted. These sudden jumps in technology are regarded as atypical. The focus is on instances where technology progresses very quickly. This rapid advancement is not uniformly distributed. It is observed more prominently in some regions than others. This uneven distribution is a key aspect of the phenomenon. Significant gaps exist within the material culture record. These gaps indicate potential breaks in historical continuity. Material culture refers to the physical objects and artifacts of a society. Gaps suggest missing evidence of past activities or technologies. These discontinuities complicate historical interpretation. Further research is needed to understand the reasons for these gaps. The reuse of existing Roman structures is noted. This reuse occurred instead of constructing new buildings. This pattern is presented as notable evidence. It suggests a possible gap in historical records. The continuous use may obscure dating. Dating of construction becomes more complex. The historical existence of Charlemagne is examined. Charlemagne was a key figure in the Middle Ages. The consistency of evidence for his life is questioned. Historical records are analyzed for corroboration. Artifacts and documents are scrutinized for authenticity. Scholarly debates surround the details of his reign. Accounts of Charlemagne vary. These accounts were written decades later. The varying accounts present a point of contention. Historical accuracy is challenged. Later accounts may be less reliable. The portraits of Charlemagne vary significantly. This variation is unusual for such a major historical figure. The portraits do not offer a consistent image. This makes definitive identification challenging. The scarcity of contemporary artifacts from Charlemagne's era is notable. This rarity raises questions about the historical record. The limited number of items contrasts with Charlemagne's significant impact. This discrepancy may indicate selective preservation or loss of materials. The lack of artifacts could also suggest deliberate removal or concealment. The rarity itself becomes a point of investigation and potential suspicion. The text suggests Charlemagne may be a composite legend. This hypothesis arises from a fabricated timeline. The legend was possibly created to fill gaps in this timeline. This challenges traditional historical accounts of Charlemagne. Further research is needed to validate this claim. The narrative introduces the unsettling idea of a potential discrepancy in the current year. This suggests a misalignment between perceived reality and actual time. The implication is that the characters might be mistaken about the year. This uncertainty creates a sense of disorientation and mystery. The narrative uses this to challenge the audience's perception of time. The misplaced present concept challenges our linear perception of time. It proposes the possibility that our current era is not what we perceive it to be. Specifically, it questions whether we are truly in the 21st century. The idea suggests we might be living in an earlier period, like the 1700s. This notion disrupts conventional understandings of historical and technological advancement. This section highlights a potential shift in our comprehension. It focuses on reevaluating our understanding of progress. The section also addresses a new perspective on history. It further emphasizes a changing view of modernity. The shift suggests a move away from traditional interpretations. This new understanding may reshape future narratives. The concept explores the idea that the past could be fundamentally incorrect. It suggests the past isn't just inaccurate, but entirely wrong. This wrongness extends to influencing and misplacing the present. The present becomes misplaced due to the flawed foundation of the past. Time fabrication may be employed to manipulate religious prophecies. This involves altering perceived timelines to align with specific beliefs. Control over time narratives can reinforce or undermine religious doctrines. Fabricated events may be presented as fulfillment of ancient predictions. Such manipulation can significantly impact religious followers and institutions. Political legitimacy can be a goal in calendar manipulation. Altering calendars might aim to bolster political power. Calendar changes could be used to create a sense of order. This perceived order can enhance a regime's legitimacy. Synchronizing empires through a common timeline is a possible reason. A shared timeline could facilitate communication. It may also streamline trade. A common timeline could help coordinate military actions. It may create a sense of unity. This synchronization could strengthen alliances. A divine narrative is constructed to shape historical understanding. It serves as a tool for influencing collective identity. This narrative often presents a specific interpretation of events. It aims to legitimize certain actions or beliefs. Control over the narrative can lead to control over society's values. The creation of a divine narrative is a powerful motive. Controlling the calendar is presented as a means of influencing broader narratives. It suggests power over the interpretation and recording of historical events. This control extends to shaping cultural identity through the calendar's structure. The calendar can define rituals, holidays, and communal experiences. It also implies influence over perceived destiny by framing time and future prospects. Thus, calendar control is portrayed as a tool for societal influence. The text suggests people believing they live at the end of time are easier to guide. This concept implies a heightened state of vulnerability or suggestibility. The belief in an impending end may alter decision-making processes. This could make individuals more receptive to external influence. Therefore, they might be more easily guided or manipulated. Most historians reject the phantom time hypothesis. This rejection is based on critical analysis. The hypothesis lacks supporting evidence. Established historical records contradict it. Independent records across cultures serve as a counterargument. These records suggest parallel or independent development. They challenge the idea of a single origin or diffusion. The presence of similar ideas may indicate shared human experiences. Independent records support multiple independent inventions or discoveries. Section 9 focuses on the alignment of Islamic and Chinese calendars. This alignment is examined in relation to known historical events. The study of these calendars provides insights into dating events. It enhances understanding of historical timelines and cultural contexts. This alignment helps synchronize historical records across cultures. Astronomical records are compared with known historical events. This comparison serves as a form of evidence. The matching of records to events is key. Mismatches can challenge certain hypotheses. Consistent matches support the hypothesis. Thus, records are crucial for validation. The possibility of global export of a false timeline is considered. This refers to the potential spread of misinformation worldwide. The counter-response addresses this concern directly. It suggests measures to prevent such global dissemination. This ensures a more accurate and truthful historical record. Synchronization may be a deceptive tactic. Synchronization could mask underlying intentions. It might create a false sense of security. Deception can be achieved through coordinated actions. Synchronization can obscure true motives. The outro questions if 300 years disappeared from historical records. It explores the possibility that these years were never actually present. This prompts investigation into potential historical gaps. The query challenges conventional timelines and recorded events. The question of time's nature is explored. Is time an absolute truth, or is it a constructed narrative? This consideration is presented. The concept of time is complex. History is a narrative constructed by human beings. It is not a completely objective or unbiased account. Human perspectives and biases influence what is recorded. These perspectives shape the interpretation of past events. Understanding this is crucial for critical historical analysis. If the past can be fabricated, what else might be misrepresented? The integrity of historical narratives is called into question. This raises concerns about the reliability of other accounts. It highlights the potential for widespread misrepresentation. The phantom time hypothesis is inherently unsettling. It challenges conventional historical timelines. The hypothesis suggests missing years in history. This prompts deeper investigation into its claims. Further inquiry is needed to understand its implications.